In today's video, we're going to be discussing the backswing, and we're going to be focusing on the trail leg and the role of the trail leg in our backswing. Stay flexed, or can we allow it to straighten? What are the benefits? What are the downsides? We're going to discuss it coming up just next. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Branston Golf and Country Club. Today's video, as I mentioned, is all about the backswing, and we're going to be focusing on the trail leg. And more importantly, the flex in that knee. Do we want to allow that leg to straighten? Should it maintain its flex? It is a video I've filmed before a long time ago. It's just something I wanted to recover, some extra points I wanted to talk about, questions I get asked quite a lot by lessons, and of course, questions from social media, which is a great way to get in touch, replying or putting some comments to this video, or getting in touch on any of my feeds, which the links have come below. If I can help, if there's anything you guys want to know, want to discuss, please get in touch. It's great to have your input to help film these videos. And of course, if you do enjoy my content, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as well. So the trail leg. And I'm talking about this with a driver, but this is relevant with any golf club. So I really don't care whether we're talking about a wedge, a mid-iron, a driver. It's the same movement for me. Now, I find that most golfers are going to allow and going to need to allow that trail leg to straighten and lose some of its flex. How much that has to happen depends on the flexibility of the golfer. You know, if you're very, very supple, very, very flexible, you can potentially keep quite a lot of that flex in there while still creating a big turn. But most of us, to complete our shoulder turn, are going to need our hips to turn around 40 degrees, and we're going to be losing some flex in that leg. And I see a lot of problems with golfers trying to keep that leg flexed too long. Some of the problems we see, one would be when golfers are trying to keep that flex there, I tend to see they lose their posture, their backside starts moving towards the golf ball in the backswing, so they lose a bit of posture, they don't fully load into their trail leg, trail hip correctly. And I have filmed a video about that, talking about how it's linked to early extension. So early extension, the loss of posture. Now, if you're starting to lose it in the backswing, obviously that's causing some real major problems there. Rather than discuss it in a great detail, I will put the link just up here. If it's something you struggle with, it's well worth checking out. But as I said, golfers trying to maintain flex, I quite often see that the backside is actually moving forwards towards the ball. We already start to see that the pressure's moving to their toes. What I'd like to see in terms of a pressure shift is moving towards my trail foot, but staying relatively even heel toe. So if you're someone who's starting to move forwards into your toes already, because you're not allowing that leg to actually lose some of its flex, then allow that hip to turn more, allow that leg to straighten a little bit more. The other big thing would be, as I discussed really at the start there, increasing your backswing. So I really want you to be able to get those shoulders to turn a good 90 degrees. Now, if you need to allow the hips to turn more, to allow the shoulders to turn more, then do so and allow that leg to lose some flex. It's absolutely fine to achieve that. How you would know how much the hips are turning, it's an indication if you use a tall stick through your belt loops. And if you put a ball down as a focus point and another marker a couple of feet past the golf ball, and I've done this drill quite often, but it's a good exercise, club across shoulders and learn how much you have to allow the hips to turn to make a full 90-degree shoulder turn. So I'm trying to get the end of the grip to point at the golf ball that is about 2 feet past the ball that I'd be actually hitting. So I'm just using it as a marker, as a reference point. So a good 90-degree shoulder turn behind the golf ball, and my hips have turned maybe around 40 to allow my shoulders to turn 90. Now, as my hips turn 40, my trail leg will be losing some flex. My trail hip will be turning behind me, and that is very acceptable to do. I get more problems, as I said, with people trying to keep their knee flexed where they under-rotate, and if their body isn't rotating enough, what do we tend to see? Instead of a short backswing that you would expect to see, we tend to still see the same length of backswing, but more with the hands and arms lifting. So they're limited in how much they can turn with their torso and their hips. So they complete the golf swing with their hands and arms, and we tend to see more of a lifting movement. So allow that trail hip to turn behind you, to allow that shoulder turn. A great checkpoint is if you were on video and you drew a line on your backside there, I really want your right bum cheek to be on that line at the top of the backswing, both bum cheeks at the start of the downswing, left bum cheek into impact. Obviously what we're discussing here is more the backswing part, but if you lose that angle already on the backswing, you're definitely in trouble and going to have to make some real compensation movements on the downswing to try and get back into position. So after I felt that feeling or got that sensation of allowing my hips to turn, allowing my hips to load, creating that big shoulder turn, I would put that into some golf swing movements. So for me, there's very few downsides to allowing that leg to straighten. The only one that you could pick up on is, could I not generate more X factor stretch difference between shoulder turn and hip turn by keeping some flex? And yes, you could, as long as you can still wind your shoulders up and create a good 90 degrees, as I said, depending on flexibility. But where I see the most elite golfers create that from is in that transition. So what we start to see at the start of the downswing is they're keeping their upper body back as the hips start to move back towards the target. So actually I think you can create more X factor stretch there in the transition than you can do by trying to change the backswing move. It's definitely an area to look at on video. It's definitely an area to look at whether you need to allow that leg to straighten to generate that full shoulder turn. And as I said, are you maintaining posture, which is a real key part as well there. Let's go ahead and see if I can put that into a full golf swing movement. So I'm going to get that sensation that I'm allowing that leg to straighten, to create a big hip turn, to create a big shoulder turn, excuse me, and try and maintain my posture on the backswing. I'm not supple enough to keep that leg flexed, so I'm not going to bother. I'm going to allow it to straighten to complete my shoulder turn. I'm going to get that sensation of losing some flex to really load that hip correctly and hopefully help me generate some more speed. I'll take that one every day. Really happy with that ball flight, got that sensation on the backswing. I allowed that leg to straighten. Again, check it out on video. See what's right for you. There isn't one for everybody. It depends on flexibility, it depends on swing length, but look at it on camera. Are you maintaining posture? Are you making a full shoulder turn? That will tell you whether you need to allow that leg to straighten a little bit more or not. If you do need to allow it to straighten, don't worry about it. Allow that to happen. Get that feeling of creating a full 90-degree plus shoulder turn and see what hip turn you need to allow that to happen by putting the cane through your belt loops. It's a great at-home exercise to get the idea of what your backswing is going to look like and feel like. If that video has helped, make sure you hit the thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel for all the other content.